when you burn a target down, there is a solution because they respond to the loss of money more than they do to the loss of lives.
Solutions are about leverage.
Right.
And I've said this before, I'll say it again. If somebody wants to see, I'll tell you what giving somebody power is, and sometimes this is tough. Think about the people who you've empowered in your life or that matter to you in your life. There's one common thread that all of those people have, is that they can hurt you.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is your significant other. They can make you feel bad. Your kids after a certain point, anyone, your job, all of those people, right? All of these are people that they can do something and it can affect you. The easiest thing to ignore is someone who is insignificant to you. Not even somebody that you hate, just somebody who doesn't matter. You, they hate you, it doesn't matter. They feel good about you, they feel bad about you, it doesn't matter. True power is somebody else's ability to affect what's going on with you. That's why the Me Too movement worked. The Me Too movement worked to a degree because it was the first time women were able to levy consequence against men for their bad behavior. Okay, you want to grope me, touch me, say inappropriate things to me, your legacy is done forever and you can't go work anywhere else. Who's the next person that's going to hire Matt Lauer? He's already rich, but the reality is he would rather be on television right now. So we became empowered by their ability to level consequence. Solutions are going to be about that part of it, the consequence part of it, and they're also going to be about the structures that we build. So it's possible that within what we're living in right now, there are no solutions. So let's come to terms with that. It's possible that society, the way it's presently constituted, that there's not an answer.
Right.
Even when we talk about George Floyd or Breonna Taylor or Ahmaud Arbery, remember that the justice that we're talking about, that isn't for them. That's for us. That's right. Okay? So they don't get any justice. They died unjustly, and it is that way for eternity.
That's right.
There's no rewind. The justice we're talking about is for us. It's so that we feel better and more harmoniously, shall I say, in tune with society, that there's some sense of this whole thing. So the solutions that we're talking about, they have to do with addressing policing, right? But there has to be something new. There would have to be oversight from somewhere else. It can't start from inside the department because inside the department is already diseased, all right? It has to do with economic, social, and political power. Power, the ability to exert power on someone. And the only way that Black or brown people are going to be able to achieve that is solidarity.
Yes.
Solidarity is going to be the one thing that you prescribe to get people going to the same place. Like we could really cripple Target without burning it down.
That's right.
By not going there. Like we could cripple so many of these different things by taking control of the economic infrastructure that we have and using it to our advantage. But what we need is clear-cut leadership. We don't need any buck dancing. We don't need any of the bourgeoisie getting in the way of people that are on the ground. We need clear-cut leadership and we need clear-cut planning. But it's a multi-front war. It's economic, it's social, and it's political. It involves reparations.
Absolutely.
These communities with capital. It involves a voting block. Okay. And it also involves a little bit of us being willing to do for us. So all three of those things to me are good places to start. And there are a lot of people right now that are already doing that work.
And one thing that I like to do is always uplift the people who do this work on a daily basis, because I'm a stand-up comedian, I'm an actress, my TV show goes in the fall, I'm on set, but there are people who do this every day, all day long, and we glad, like I got in trouble, if you will, when I was on the Young Turks, and I said that Kanye West was not a leader of Black people. Kanye West is a celebrity that uses his platform to speak out against or for whatever he is, but he is not leadership. There are people who are actually working every day to make a difference in people's communities. And when it comes to Black and brown people, we there's so much celebrity worship in this country that we appoint these people to leadership that they really don't even know what's really happening. They're so far removed from it. Are there any people that you like to, whose names you like to uplift?
Philip Agnew, Tiffany Loftin from the NAACP. She's an organizer, not an activist. She told me to make sure I say that. She's an organizer, not an activist. I'm sorry, Tiff. Obviously, Tamika Mallory.
Yes,
Wait, let me tell you something about Tamika Mallory, my son and Linda. Everybody else is tweeting. They in Minnesota.
Yes.
So like I'm tweeting, I'm enraged, I'm sad, but I did a podcast in Minnesota.
That's right.
So if you want to lift somebody up, pay for a night at the Travel Lodge for Tamika or my son or somebody like that. Pay for them, keep them doing the stuff that they're doing. Keep them being disruptive, because you can't be disruptive on an empty stomach. It needs to come from somewhere. They need energy, right? Patrisse Cullors is good. Another name that I want to put on everybody's tongue, Jason Wilson.
Okay.
Jason Wilson runs a transitional institute up in Detroit called the Cave of Adullam. What that place is doing is absolutely phenomenal. It's taking young men, his primary focus is young men, and teaching them emotional stability. It's getting rid of toxic masculinity, teaching them self-defense and self-worth. He is creating leaders the purest way, 10, 11, 12-year-old boys that will become victims of the unjust community that they live in and making them into men and leaders. Can't say enough about that, brother. Gary Chambers from Baton Rouge, Walter McLaughlin from Baton Rouge, Blair Imani, so many different people that are out there. But all of those people right there, support them. Make sure that they stay engaged. Make sure that they stay ready, that they stay having what they need. And then they'll work for you because they're already working for you.
That's right. So we're going to, at the end of the show, we're going to put up a graphic that is going to give the information to Black Lives Matter in Minnesota right now to support them. And I would encourage you to support them financially, because money does matter. And a lot of people don't really understand that. When people start getting turned off about two things I want to say. People get turned off when you ask them for money, but do you understand how much money has gone into keeping you down? And you don't realize that it's going to take money to get that proverbial knee out of your neck, literal at this point. And the other thing is jury duty. Like, a lot of people are always trying to figure out a way on how to get out of jury duty.
You couldn't be righter.
We need it.
Yeah, but like Brother Crump, the last time I talked to Brother Crump, oh, by the way, I don't want to leave out Colin Kaepernick and Nessa and the Know Your Rights camp. Those are my people. That's my family. They need your support. They need your help. They're funding people in Minnesota too. Just real quick, Brother Crump talks about that all the time. Like if my cousin got a petty drug charge, I would feel a lot better knowing that some of the homies from the neighborhood were on the jury. That's right. That's it. You couldn't be righter.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate you taking the time to being here with us. You have a new podcast, and the podcast is called
Higher Learning. It's with me and Rachel Lindsay. It is on my home, The Ringer. It's not my home, it's Bill's home, but I work there. But it's a great new podcast, Black culture, sports, all of this stuff wrapped up into one. It's kind of an extension of what I was doing with the Red Pill. We stopped doing that podcast when I left that other organization. But yeah, I'm excited to be talking about things that matter to me again.